Hello, everybody. Hi, my name is Jessica Armendariz, and today I'm going to be doing my persuasive presentation on guns and whether or not there should be tighter regulation of them in Texas. And I'm going to be pro tighter regulations of guns. The reason why I am bringing this to y'all's attention is to be able to convince you guys to partake in more political rallies to push for tighter gun control, as well as to just bring awareness to the dangers of having very loose gun regulations. Perfect. And starting now. Did you know that 125,000 people are shot per year, as well as 50,000 being dead? And there are about a couple thousand that are just left unaccounted for, with just rounding and errors. And this is found by the Pew Research Center. Perfect. And then, according to the CDC, the number of deaths also that has occurred by guns has risen 23% over the 4 years, which is a staggering number, which will soon to continue to incline as the years go by. So by stating my problem, I am now going to cite two solutions as to how I would combat this, as well as the regulations that I would enforce if I were a member of the government. Perfect. The first solution that I would propose is to raise the age of buying a gun from 18 to 21. By raising the age to buy a gun from 18 to 21, it would be able to make sure that those who are buying a gun are mature, more minded, and also just making sure that there's an even playing field from being able to drink alcohol as well as buying a gun. According to a study done by Jay Powell, who was a member of the NPR, he found that there was a 16% decline in deaths related to alcohol when drinking age rose in 1986. And this is done by the CDC. And then this was a study done by the CDC and then an article that he had written. And by following this trend, I would hope that the age and the deaths of that would occur by a gun would also decline as well, because that was a trend and pattern of people who did not die because of a gun. Perfect. Another solution I would suggest is to make sure that there are more screenings and tests done before people buy guns, because a majority of the deaths that occur from guns are gang-related or just what's it called? Gang-related, as well as the word that is people doing bad things, gang-related, as well as illegal. The word's illegal. The gang-related and illegal, and by putting up those stricter gun laws and stricter just like reps for making sure that no one who has a criminal record is able to buy a gun, we're able to curb those who are trying to buy a gun, even though that can be flawed because people are going to be able to go around the system. It is just one extra precautionary measure to be able to take, so that way less people can be affected by this. And I am not saying to limit guns, because that is an opposing argument where it says, well, if you allow screenings, then you're limiting people to be able to buy guns. No, it is just making sure that those who are able to buy guns are with the proper capacity and are not having any ill intent with them. And yes, there are going to be people who go around the system, but at least this is done so that people can not be as affected. It is just one extra precautionary measure that's done. And another suggestion I have is for taking more psychological tests, not necessarily something extreme, but just to make sure that those who buy guns are in proper mental capacity, because also a majority of deaths that occur from guns are suicide, and that it plays a lot with mental health, and that is a big issue that we must face, sadly. And another solution I would suggest is to be able to have proper education. According to a recent study done by the link of educational funds to stop gun violence. 500 deaths per year are caused by people who are not aware of how to properly use a gun, as well as people who are not properly educated. This is 500 deaths that could have easily been avoided if they had proper education on how to use, store, as well as just properly use a gun. And for the screenings and tests as well, from the statistic that I brought up earlier of the 50,000, 125,000, those same number of people who are illegally using guns is also mentioned in that statistic, the Pew Research Center. So majority of these statistics are done by the Pew Research Center, and it's just calculating all of those deaths and people who are also handling the guns. And perfect. Next, I'm going to send in the chat for y'all a link to be able to allow for y'all to participate in any just electoral um, change. If you want to be able to donate specifically, there's also a bottom link under this, which goes to the oh no, what was it called? Hold on. It is called the, y'all can still see me, right? The Texas Gun Sense. It is a link, it's an organization called Texas Gun Sense. Sorry, it took me so long. But the Texas Gun Sense, which is an organization of Texans in Texas trying to push for tighter gun control in Texas, and they meet with legislative people and they accept donations. And so the link that I've put in there is just that way y'all can look into more research and as well maybe donate if you feel led to. And great, that is going to be the rest of my presentation, and I hope y'all enjoy it and are more inclined to look into gun legislation. Thank you very much.